Hi there, I'm Miriam and welcome to Miriam's Manor. So today you guys, I have a Christmas Village video for you. Now, for those of you who don't already know, I have begun assembly of my 2021 Christmas Village and I am so excited to share my whole process with you guys. Now, in this layout that I have designed for this year, it requires me to build so much. Almost every part of this village I have to build something for. So it's gonna require a lot of work for me, but the good news is for you, you will be getting a lot of tutorial videos this year, watching me build the different things for my village. So today's video is a tiered base that I have built for my town square scene. Now I've not decorated the base yet. I'm gonna wait to do that until I actually put my town square together, and that'll be in another video. But this will give you the nuts and bolts on how to build a tiered platform if that is something that you are interested in doing for your village. So I hope this helps you. Check it out and let me know what you think. The materials I'm going to use to start this project is this block styrofoam scrap pieces, and this bowl of glue. So what I'm going to do is take my styrofoam pieces that I've already laid out, dip them in this bowl of glue, and just place them on the fronts and the sides of this styrofoam block. Now you guys, I did recycle this styrofoam. This came from a package that I've been saving, and it's a great way to get free foam if you don't want to buy it. So this is what it looks like so far, but before I begin to plaster, I do want to add this top piece and add a kind of tiered look to this display. I have not attached this piece yet, as you can see here, because I need to carve out my stair pattern first. Now you can see that I've drawn out my stair pattern here, so I'm going to just take my hot knife, carve this out, and then glue this back on the top here. All right, my stairs are all cut and I am ready to attach this top piece. So I am just taking some plain white glue. Now you guys, this is just the Elmer school glue. It works really well with attaching pieces of styrofoam together. And I'm going to spread this glue around. Normally I would use a brush, but in this case I just grabbed an extra one of those scrap pieces of styrofoam and using it like a brush to spread the glue around. So now I'm taking this thin wooden stick and I'm going to stick it into the base of the styrofoam, so these will act as stakes to firmly hold the top piece that I am adding firmly in place. And now I am just taking some additional pieces of scrap styrofoam and adding them to this front part that I just added on the top. And I will also add some to the sides of this piece as well to create the rock formations. All right, so now it's time to plaster and my strips are already pre-cut. I have my shallow bowl of water and my base is ready to go. So all I'm going to do is dip my plaster strips into the water. I'm going to keep the strip straight and hold it on both ends. And I like to start from the top down. So I'm going to smooth this out over the top portion first and then gently rub down the sides of this to start creating those rock formations underneath the plaster. Now, you guys, I am not at all concerned about leaving holes in this. So I am not going to try to smooth this out as much as I normally would, because I'm actually going to be applying some liquid plaster to this today to cover up all those little gauzy-like holes. So my purpose for this is just to get this on here, get it set so that it can harden, so that I can run my other plaster over it. All the rocks are covered on the front and the side, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but there were actually some gaps on the top of this piece on this side and also on the other side. So what I did was just filled this in with some styrofoam, and I'm going to put some plaster strips over this. That way it will harden and give me a good base so that I can set my buildings and trees and things like that on top. Now that my entire base is plastered, I'm going to let this dry for 1 to 2 hours, depending on how long it takes, before I apply the second layer of plaster. For the second layer of plaster, I am using this Plaster of Paris. I will be using my measuring cup that is 1/3 of a cup and scooping 2 parts of plaster and adding 1 part of chilled water. Now the water I just put in my refrigerator for an hour so that it would chill it enough for this project. I might need to make more mix later, but I'm starting with this amount because this plaster hardens fairly quickly. It will set in 6 minutes, so I don't want to make a large amount that I won't be able to apply in that allotted time frame. So I'm going to start small and mix some more if I need to as I go along. The first batch that I mixed was enough to cover the first half of this, so I'm going to complete this side on the right. I am done with the application. Notice you can see the brush marks in the plaster. If you don't like this, take a sheet of fine sandpaper and sand it once it's completely dry. I like it, and I'm going to leave it like this. I think it will mimic scratch marks that you see in large rocks on mountains. I allowed the liquid plaster to dry overnight, and now it's time to paint. I am taking this apple barrel paint to make my black wash. So I have my bowl of paint ready, and I am adding water to this, and I am mixing it thoroughly, and I will cover the entire surface with this black wash. The first layer of paint I will add is this dark brown. It is part of the Apple Barrel brand called Burnt Umber, and you can pick this up at Walmart. So I'm going to wet the tip of my brush and make gentle sweeping motions over the face of the rocks. This mountain will be gray, and although most of the brown will be covered up, the brown does peek through in the finished paint job, and I like that it adds a subtle warmth to the piece. Also, with every layer of paint that I add, it will cover more and more of the black. So by the time I am done adding the last layer of gray, the only black that will show through will be in the crevices of the rocks, creating a shadowy effect. It is time to mix my first layer of gray paint, so I'm starting off with white in my bowl first, adding a little black to it, and mixing it up thoroughly, and this is the color that I'm going for. And I'm applying this in the exact same way that I applied the brown, just in gentle sweeping motions over the surface of the rocks. Now, I don't know yet how I'm going to decorate the top portion of this. So instead of leaving it black, what I'm going to do is just to create like a concrete look at the top. So once I get to this top piece and this for the stairs, I'm going to kind of dab it across the top, and that way if I decide to just leave it as a concrete finish, then I can leave it just as it is, or if I decide to add grass or a cobblestone road or something else like that, I'll have that option to do so as well. But at least it'll be finished and completed when I finish the paint job. Time for the second layer of gray paint. I am taking the existing gray that I already had, just adding a little bit more white to it to lighten it up. And I will again apply it in the exact same way that I did the other layers. And I also am going to be taking the brush across the top in the same way and dabbing it with each layer of lighter gray paint as I go along. I did add one more layer of lighter gray paint off camera that I applied the exact same way that you saw me do all the others. So now it is time to add the snow detail. I have a cap full of white paint with a fine brush, and I am just going to highlight the edges of some of the rocks, and especially even down below, the rocks that are protruding a bit, I'm just going to add some white paint to the tips of those. And now I'm going to highlight each step by just running my paintbrush across the edge of each step. My paint is all complete, and this is how it all turned out. Now the paint is still a little bit wet. I do need to allow it time to dry, but this is the finished product. With my excitement to start this project, you guys, I forgot to cut out the holes for my lights before I did any of the work. So make sure this is something you do in advance, but it's really not a big deal. I was able to cut all 3 holes out for the 3 buildings that I'm going to put on there, but it's definitely something you want to do first before you start your work. Here are the 3 buildings I built this platform for. I did not decorate this piece for this video because I'm going to show you guys how I get it all set up in my next Christmas Village video setup part 2. So tune into that video once it's posted so you can see this piece all dressed up. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to click on that notification bell because I have so many Christmas Village videos to come your way. I'm going to try to release 2 a week. If not, I will definitely at least release 1 Christmas Village video every week until my village is done. Also, I have begun preparation for my fall garden. I am late this season, but that work has begun. So I will have some garden videos coming your way as well. Right after this clip, I will play the contest rules for those of you who are interested in joining our 2021 Christmas Village contest. And that is all I have for you today. So until I see you again, stay safe, God bless you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.